What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talking to Duke. This week we are finishing our two-part conversation with my guy Sean Kelly. Talk a bit about his transition from manager to player to eventually national champion, which is really cool. But as always, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our uploads. And check us out on YouTube at The Field of 68. That's where we post clips from all of our podcasts across the network. And reach out to us on Twitter at The Field of 68 and at Dre_Dawkins is my personal Twitter. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know who you want to hear from next. Hope you enjoy the rest of this conversation, and we will see you on the next one next week. Going into your senior year, what led you to, wanting to try and walk on to the team?
Ego, honestly. I said that twice, but my brother used to call me the king of irrational confidence.
That's how you got your nickname.
Yeah. So the part of it was like, man, it just would be cool to be on the Duke basketball team. Like, man, it would be walking around campus. Like, that just seems like it would be cool. So like for my first couple of years at Duke, that's what I would tell people, like dumb freshman, sophomore. They'd be like, oh yeah, you're a manager. That's really cool. And I'm like, yeah, but what I'm really trying to do, trying to like, oh, being a manager is not cool enough. So I'm going to go try to it was so stupid. Junior year, I started getting serious about it. And I was like, all right, you don't want this because it's cool. Like you want this because there's something you think that you can contribute. So at the time, so like Christmas time ish of my junior year was when I physically got serious about it. Cause like I was a normal college kid at that point. I mean, playing pickup with coaches kept me like sort of in shape, but like I was eating cookout all the time and not sleeping well and socializing. And so I was probably like 220, like bloated, just a college kid. And so I wanted to get that figured out. And so I went to Coach Will, who I always say, like in my senior banquet speech, I was like, none of this happens without Coach Will. I went to him and I was like, can I just come start working out sometimes? Like not when the team's here, like on off hours. I didn't tell him anything about the plan. Just was like, I just want to get in shape. So he's like, yeah, come in. I'll put you on a program. So I start lifting with him kind of quietly, completely retool what I'm eating, like cut out all the going out, like no like school and workout. And so I got down to like 187 or something like that, like pretty skinny. And then started lifting like at that point with Coach Will. I now had like a foundation. I started lifting like seriously and the weight started to go up. So I ended up at like 195. So like that was the physical transformation that was going on. And then we had lost in the first round again. So we had lost in the first round freshman year and then my junior year. And I remember thinking like, man, this isn't what I wanted from this experience either. Like, this is not what I know. Like, and I went to Ryan in your national championship game. So I like knew what that was like. That seems like a more fun way to end the season. And
slightly better.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go in and like I practiced with my parents. I was like had notes. I'm like, here's what I think is missing that I can help with. Like I'm not gonna be scoring any points, but at the time
you could have had 3, but you airballed it long.
Yeah. Hey, 2 assists, no turnovers, highest ratio NCAA
of
history
all time. Yep.
For qualifying players.
For players with at least 2 assists in the NCAA history.
And so I'm basically what I was starting to see was like, hey, we're shifting younger. Like we have a lot of, freshmen who are now impact players like right away, which even your year as a freshman, like you each had some moments. You had some really big moments, and Mason got minutes, and Ryan had some, but it wasn't what it became even in
not at all. There. Yeah, it's completely different.
And so I was like, what the role I think I could fill. I had my whole like thing ready to roll. The role I think I could fill is like I'll be the senior. That's like come have pizza, like come hang out, like play Xbox, just be like a glue guy. And I was supposed to meet with Wojo. Wojo was like my guy at Duke. We played pickup all the time. He drove me crazy. Like in the best way, but like he drove me crazy. I would lift weights and like the bench press was Wojo because he would just beat me up and pick up. And so I was supposed to meet with him.
He was leading them that year.
That day.
Oh man.
So like I think about me, this is like I haven't slept. This is all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And rumors start about Marquette. So I'm like, I text him in the morning. I'm like, Coach, you still good? He goes, yeah. And then at like 12 o'clock or something, like right after the announcement, he's like, he was on the plane.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, oh, I got all hyped up for this. So then I had to pivot, reached out to Coach Capel, did the whole thing again. And I sat down and I was like, Coach Capel, I think I can do like not more, but like do something differently. And I know what our class looks like. I know we're young, heavy. And so I just asked him. And like, while all that was going on, I was playing pickup with them every day. So like they saw the physical changes happening, even though I hadn't named like, this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Like suddenly I could dunk. Like I wasn't dunking before. And like, I was in really good shape. So it wasn't like, at that point I was in a place where it wasn't crazy to ask, like I could keep up. And then basically he said, I'll talk to coach. And it was a whole process and they put it on ice for a while they finished up the school year. And then I had the meeting and it was go time.
What was that meeting like? And what are your emotions? Like they call you in, or you like, oh, is it like college admission all over again?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I didn't know when it was going to come, other than they told me they didn't want to make the decision until the freshmen got to campus.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were working summer camp, and that for managers, that's a hard couple weeks.
Oh, that's awful.
You're up so early. You're up all night getting the kids to the dorms, and you're playing pickup at night. And so at that time, I had gotten permission to work out with the team, even though like it wasn't a sure thing that I was going to be on the team. I was allowed to do off-season workouts. So I was doing them, and then camp was going to be like a huge, for me in my mind, I'm like, this is going to stop all my progress and like bonds I'm building. And so I asked if I could like skip out on camp for a couple hours just to do workouts. And they're like, no, like you're still a manager.
Yeah.
I remember I was mad. and so I was like, all right, then I'm gonna get up early. So I was like lifting before camp. I was so tired. So anyway, the day it happens, at lunch, we would just go out and shoot half court shots to keep the campers entertained because they'd sit in the upper bowl. And so I had my phone at the manager stand and I was shooting the shots and came back and saw a missed call from Capel like 20 minutes before.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, like I
missed my window.
No, I'm gonna miss my chance. And so I texted him, I'm like, hey, I'm good. Like, tell me when. So he told me first. And then he was like, you're going to meet with coach this afternoon. You're going to meet with compliance. And like, we'll share the details, but like you're practicing. It was like you're practicing tomorrow. It was like bang, bang.
Yeah.
And so I met with coach, and like people have no idea like the things that coach does for people. Like he's not a PR guy. So like, first of all, they didn't put any of this on video. Like they didn't do like the Sean's on scholarship, Sean made the team, everyone go crazy. Super low key. And so he met with me, and we're sitting down, and he said he did two things that meeting that I was like, people will never know this unless like I happen to share it. But first of all, he said to me, you've earned this. We've watched the work you've been doing. This isn't because of your brother, which like doesn't have to say that. Yeah. And no matter what, some people are going to think that and some people aren't. And it wasn't something that was at the top of my mind, but like immediately affirmed me. So I was like, again, I'm going to run through a brick wall for this guy.
Yeah.
And then he was like, who's paying for your college? And no lie, like 2 weeks before I had taken out a $60,000 loan to pay for senior year. Like 2 days, like it was like bang, bang. And like still on my credit report. And I was like, well, I've been blessed. My family's been able to help me. I've been working. So I've been like through college paying some with like this camp money I earn and this and that. And I said, but it's on me for senior year. It's on me. And he was like, we have an extra scholarship, so I'm going to give you a full ride. He was like, so you're good. You don't have to have that debt. And he's like, housing, books, like your full ride. And first of all, I'm like, I'm so happy to even make the team. I don't even know what to do with that. And so like I had given up, the managers split the scholarship senior year. So I had given that up. I was like, I don't care about that. It'll be worth it to be on the team. If I make it, like I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So when he did that, that also just like completely changed the trajectory of my life after college.
Yeah.
Because I mean, student debt crisis is serious.
Yeah.
That just like basically let me go move to LA and work for an agency and not have to make a ton of money. I mean, it was, and like he would never tell it. No one knew that except for my family. But just stuff like that all the time, which is just why I'll run through a brick wall for him to this day.
Yeah. Did you cry? I feel like I would cry.
No, not with them. I might have when I called my parents.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I did, because it was like they told me, but I wasn't allowed to tell.
Yeah.
And then they like told me, but I wasn't allowed to tell the managers for like a couple hours. Like they had to like they didn't want anything to happen until I talked to coach. Yeah. And there was like a window before I talked to coach. But after I talked to coach, I called my parents. I called Ryan first because he was out in LA, and then called my parents, and they were in the car with my sister doing college visits. And I was like, I made the team, and they're like, they were excited. I think a little bit in disbelief. Like when the year before, when I was like, I'm going to go for this, they were kind of like,
sure, Sean.
Hey, that's a big idea.
Yeah.
You have a lot of big ideas that don't always go to completion. And so, but then when I told them, I was like, man, I'm on full scholarship. They were like, you know what that does for your kid is huge. It was a big call.
Yeah.
And I got to send the money right back.
That's all. Yeah.
Close the loan.
Yeah, that's great. That's great for the credit report. Dude, I paid it back in like 2 days. Come on, man.
Great payment history. Early.
Yeah, way early. So, you walk out of coach office. Are you like, you walk back down to camp? Are you looking at the managers like, I'm different now. I'm different.
No. It was a little hard though. I mean, it was a little weird because it just immediately, like the managers are in it together, like all the hard, like they do hard stuff and the not fun jobs always. And so suddenly, like I just wasn't doing that because I had to do other things.
Yeah. But being a player is hard too.
Suddenly I'm not like in the snow loading the plane, but like all the players give their bags to the managers to load the plane. So it's like, feels very strange for me to give a bag to like, I was doing this with you last year.
Right.
So there's like that was a little weird, but I was texting with two of them yesterday. So we worked through it, but it was a little strange.
Was it like an awkward, like, slide out of the group text message kind of thing where you still get messaging? You're like,
we had our freshman one, like our freshman manager, group one. Yeah. So it was me, Derek Rhodes, Ian McKiernan, and Mike Sotsky. And Mike's coaching at Harvard. And Derek just went full time with the Durham Success Summit, which is like his really neat program in Durham and impacting, I think specifically young Black men in Durham, but he's killing it. Shameless plug for Derek. And then I talked
Derek's
to Ian the other day.
Yeah.
So we stay in touch, but suddenly like all the choreographing pregame, like that was another thing, like pregame managers, like 4 hours before are getting ready. And I was like, I'm getting pregame. I'm going to take a nap at the hotel on the road. This is a pretty sweet gig. And I'm probably not playing tonight, so I could probably relax, maybe get a little homework done. Probably not.
That's funny.
So
get on the team 2015. I mean, how much credit are you taking for the title, man? Like, I don't know.
There's something about there being a Plumlee and a Kelly on a team together.
Good things tend to happen, man.
I filled the Kelly role. No, zero. Absolutely not. Someone once asked me like if when I'm like 40, 45, if it's like the fishing tail where the fish gets bigger.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
suddenly like, oh yeah, I was on the floor, like
Yeah.
closing out the game.
Yeah. Coach threw me in there, man. I had to.
There's a movie in the works. But I did get in the game in the Final Four, which was pretty cool. I got to step on the floor in Indy for the last like minute 20 against Michigan State.
Were you like,
looked me off?
Were you gonna? Would you have shot it, or were you like, I'm not shooting?
No question, I would have shot it. I was still trying to. I had an air ball as my only shot. Any shot I could have got, I would have.
Oh, you're trying to get that back.
All year I was trying. It just never came.
That's funny. What made that team so special?
We were close. We were really close. I mean, I think winning helps when you're talented. Like that helps. It's easier when you don't have. But like we went through a losing streak and hard things that year, but guys were super close. I mean, like we would hang out all the time. It was like we'd be at the facility in the ice bath, hot tub, meal post practice, hang out, and then we'd hang out later in the day. Like it was. People just like genuinely liked each other, which I think makes a team really, really good. And then we had the perfect combination of like veterans and super talented friends. I feel like it was like the perfect blend of like the one and done. Yeah, where you had like Quinn, who was like not just like a contributor, was like a major leader on the floor contributing. And then you had Matt and Emil and Marshall, who were like each had big games, but weren't ever called like all year to be the guy.
Right.
And then you had obviously Tyus, Jaleel, and Justice and Grayson by the end. I think that's everybody by the end of the season, because we ended up with 8 scholarship guys, plus Obi and me and Pags. So just like everybody had a role, and like everybody starred in their role. And and everyone stepped up, like it rotated. Like Matt had a huge game at Louisville after we lost 2 straight games, or like Emil, how many big plays did he make with a rebound and a putback? And like Marshall came on and suddenly like is doing some big things in key moments in games. And so, and then, I mean, everyone knows about the freshmen and what they did, but I think that year, more than anything, the thing that doesn't get enough credit, and he gets a lot of credit, but I still don't think he gets enough credit, is Quinn. Like, I think he was so locked in, like from the summer before he stayed on campus, like he just was, and he just wouldn't, I feel like he just wouldn't have let it go bad. Like bringing everybody along, relationships with everybody on the team. He wasn't worried about himself. Like I still don't think he gets enough credit for how big of a role he played in the team staying close. Because as the season goes on, like you've got these guys that know they're going to the NBA. Like they've demonstrated that they can do it at this level, so they're going to go. And like once that's in your mind, it's hard to keep that tuned out and stay focused on the task at hand. And I just feel like we did that really, really well.
Yeah, it's interesting. You say you guys were really close, and that helped, because I don't feel like the team in 2010, my freshman year, we were close. Like I don't. And not in a way of like we hated each other. Like it wasn't that. It just was like we all kind of did our own things. Like, John did his own thing. Zoobs kind of did his own thing. Everybody knows Kyle, is always doing his own thing. I was all over the place. Like, so we didn't hang out a lot. Like it wasn't like, we're going over to John's to get pizza, watch a game or anything like that. And so it's interesting. But on the court, we were like, I don't know if close as word, but like we all understood like what we needed to do on the court. And especially like that starting five was like this on the court. Like their communication was so good. Lance and Zoobs were like amazing. and their ball screen defense and talking to each other and getting, and like our defense was complicated. We did like different stuff all the time, like on the fly, which is like, it's funny because like by my last year is like the complete opposite. Like, yeah, it was just like we're doing one thing and that's it. But yeah, like freshman year, like we weren't like super close off the court, but on the court, it was like, I got you, you got me. I know he's got me. I know, Lance and Zoobs or Mason Miles are back there. And it was a similar thing where it was like, obviously Nolan, John, and Kyle scored a lot of the points, but all the guys had moments throughout the year where like, they would do something. Zoobs, I think it was Maryland, like 20 and 20, like out of nowhere.
Yeah. That was his hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think I was at that game.
Yeah. And then like, Lance had some huge plays against Baylor. He had that putback dunk against Baylor. Even like Ryan, people don't know, like he was a big reason we beat Purdue in the Sweet 16. Because
free throws or something.
Even before that, like he was Robbie Hummel was their best player, really good college player. And Ryan was Robbie Hummel in practice all week. And so, it's like scout team is great because you just, especially like when you get to be like a guy, you get to do kind of whatever you want. And there's really no consequences because they're all focused on the white team. So you can you can shoot and miss and whatever. No one cares. But yeah, Ryan was Robbie Hummel and he was kicking our ass all week. And like he was, he was, because it was like, hey man, Robbie Hummel kind of did everything. So, here's the ball, like just try and get a bucket. And Ryan's obviously super skilled. So he was like kicking our ass all week, and that really got us ready for Purdue. And so like even things like that, like everybody had a contributing role in that team, even though we weren't like hanging out a lot off the court.
I never got that assignment as a scout.
I'm sure you would have loved it though. You would have ate it up. Before we continue our conversation, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with BetRivers yet, now's the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season in full swing, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So that whole year, do you think like we can win? We can win the whole thing?
Sort of, because we won some big early games. Mm-hmm. Like we started something like 13-0 or something.
Yeah, we went to Wisconsin and won.
We had the big win at Wisconsin. We beat Michigan State, I think, in the Champions Classic.
Yeah, probably.
I think I'm remembering that right. We just won some big games early. So it felt like, but then, like you lose and it feels like the sky is falling. Mm-hmm. So we had 4 losses that year. We lost at Notre Dame in like a close game. Mm-hmm. That's a tough place to play when it's full. And they had Connaughton and Grant, I think. They might have
they had Cherry.
So that game we lost, and then we lost at home. Did we lose at home to State that year? I'm trying to remember if that was Dennis. My manager games, my player games. Yeah. And then we lost to Miami.
Yeah.
And it was like the thing that happened with Miami, if I'm remembering right, was like their guards, just like we could not get in front of them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, well, it's gonna be hard to win a championship if we can't get stopped.
Yeah.
And then we didn't lose. Then we figured it out. We got it straightened out. We went and won at Louisville, one at UVA. Tyus Stones was born.
Big shot. Yep.
So it was like we righted the ship. So then we were feeling good again. And then we lost in the ACC. We beat State in the ACC tournament, got in that game. So I know we won. And then we played Notre Dame, and they had Bonzi Wells, and that dude was a pill. He was such a pain.
Yeah. I remember him.
The longest arms, and if something was happening, it was like he was right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so we lost Notre Dame. So it was just like, it felt like, man, we just came out flat.
Mm-hmm.
And like it just felt weird. Like, oh man. And so we went into the locker room after the game, and I'm thinking like, oh man, we're gonna drive back. We're gonna get chewed out. I don't think we're allowed to practice like right when you get back. But I was like, the next day is gonna be brutal. Like the stinks. We were trying to be ACC champs. And coach comes in, and he basically said, forget it, like wipe it, new season, and we're going to win 6 games. Like no hesitation, no like, oh coach, come on, you're just saying that. He was just like, flush it. We're going to win 6 games and we're going to win it. And I don't know if he just says that every year or if like he saw something where he was like, no, I think we really can't. But so then we just went in the tournament like, all right, that the mission's in front of us one at a time. And that's what ended up happening.
Well, I can tell you he doesn't say that every year. My last 2 years, he ain't say that to us. But he does. Which, I mean, he should. We didn't have a chance to win either of those years. But anyway, he does flip the script from ACC tournament to NCAA tournament every year. Like win or lose, we won 2 and lost 2. But it's like next thing, win or lose. Like, we won the ACC. So it's like, okay, we got other things to do now.
Right.
Because it's not like, in the regular season, regular season losses are the end of the world for Duke basketball. And, he's on those. But I feel like in the postseason, I don't know, I guess it's like, there's no time to think about what you did. Like you have to move on to the next thing. Because it happens quick, man. Like you could be playing Sunday and then playing Thursday for your life, for your season. You gotta, it goes quick. It's interesting, like my freshman year, like if you would have asked me that question, did I think we win? I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Like, I this is just what we do. Like, I guess this is just what happens. You come here, right, and win a bunch of games, and it's like I think I've said this earlier on the podcast, but like going through the tournament, and getting deep it's like, it's weird. It's like, it's eerie almost, because like that first weekend, your first, especially like the first game, you're excited. Everything's going on. Especially if you played Friday, you spent Thursday watching all the games, people getting upset. There's so much going on at the arena, because there's games all day. Yeah. And so there's a ton of people, you see teams, bunch of teams, see guys, what's going on, good luck, blah, blah, blah. And then, so you win, and that slices the field in half. Mm-hmm. And then you go to the next day, a couple days later, and it's still, that first weekend is still pretty buzzy because there's a bunch of teams there. And then again, obviously you win and you slice it, you slice the field in half, you go home and you practice, get ready for that first game. And it's weird because now it's only 4 teams at the site. Whereas last week it was like 16. Yeah. And so it's, you're coming off of like having all those teams, all that buzz, having all that excitement. And then like, the stakes get raised and you're like, oh snap, it's only 4 teams here. And then the real eerie one is the Elite 8 game. Cause at least with the Sweet 16, it's still 4 teams there. So you're still interacting with teams, like, you're going on as they're going off and stuff like that. But then there's only 2 teams there. It's just you and them. Y'all don't really interact. It's quiet. Like that day before,
have left.
Yeah, the day before the Elite 8 game, you obviously play Friday. then there's Saturday, you go in for practice to get ready for the game Sunday. Like it's dead. It's just bigger. Like I think y'all took the same route. Y'all went to Houston and then Indy too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Charlotte
Houston
first. I don't remember where you guys started.
We were in like Jacksonville, I think. So yeah, Houston, huge stadium. It's like it's empty, for the open practice. Except like there was like this one guy there who was a Baylor fan. We were playing Baylor in the Elite Eight, and he's like heckling us the whole practice. Like for like whatever it was, hour and a half. He's like screaming at the top of his lungs the whole practice, calling Duke Blue Angels, calling us the Duke Blue Angels. Go Baylor. Baylor's gonna beat y'all. Duke Blue Angels, Duke Blue Angels. So that was funny. And then you play that game, then you go back. And for me, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've never done this. I assume you just win and then you just keep winning. And I don't know. Like,
yeah.
So I just think this is normal. Then you go to the Final Four. And yeah, like the craziest one is the Sunday before the national championship game, like that practice.
Weird day.
It's a really weird day because it's like, I don't know what the emotion, like you're not like, you want to be excited, but you're like nervous and there's like pressure.
You're gonna be either like you did it or it's gonna be
like you got one. Ever. Yeah, like you got one more shot at. You got to win one more game. I remember the night before the game, Lance Thomas was my road roommate, so that's who our room was on the road. And the night before the game, after practice and stuff, we're sitting around watching TV, and I'm like, "Yo, we're gonna be national champions tomorrow. Like, we're gonna win the national championship tomorrow." And he was like, "We got to win the game first. Like, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point." I was like already like, "Dude, come on, man, no problem. We're gonna win this thing." Which probably shows why I got yanked after like 30 seconds because my head was not. I
just thought it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna win." Like, what do you mean? Like,
why are they trying to beat us?
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so I actually had written down where's the ring, but we can see it in the background.
Yeah, I did a setup here.
Is that just set up for is that just for the pod?
Just for you, for Dawkins on Duke. Oh yeah.
How often?
It's been worn maybe twice.
I was getting ready to say, how often do you take that thing out?
I wore it back my first time back to a game when Grayson Allen hit a buzzer beater against UVA.
Oh yeah, he traveled, but whatever.
Had it in the pocket to socialize after.
Oh no.
Bold play. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, that is not in Cameron. Definitely not in Cameron.
And then I wore it. That might be it. Like actually seriously wore it. I'm trying to think if there's another. I'll wear it. I'm going to the Carolina game, the last one of the season. I'll wear it for that.
Ooh, you got into that?
Oh. So I believe so. We'll see.
Man.
I think
I'm trying to finagle a way to get in there. Maybe I can get a media credential or something. But I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll see.
But that'll be I plan to be spending some time at the Y that day.
You should. I mean, it should be free drinks, man. You rock the natty ring. Should be free drinks, in my opinion.
Well, I'll be happy either way, as long as we get a W. That would.
Yeah. We have. I don't know. I don't want to invite us to the dance, but that's gonna be a hard one to not win. Like, there's gonna be a lot of
emotions.
A lot of emotions going on. That'd be a tough one to lose. Quick side story. We were going to my junior year. We were going up to MSG for 903. So we had just beaten. We had won 2 games. We just beat Belmont. First of all, Belmont almost derailed the whole thing.
I remember that.
It was a 1 possession game with less than a minute left, and I think we were up 1 with like maybe a shot clock and a half left or something like that. And yeah, I think Seth goes off a ball screen, hits me, and I hit a three, so we go up four. So the game's pretty much over.
Little casual brag.
Yeah. Humble brag. I hit a couple shots, whatever. That's not a big deal. Shout out to Drew Hanlon. He was on that team too.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got some buckets that game too. But yeah, anyway, so that's 902. So it's like perfect. I don't know how they script this stuff. Like 902 in Cameron, and then we're going up to MSG, which is Cameron North, for 903 against Michigan State. Big time game. You know, everybody's going to be up there. And so, you know, we're doing film the day before. I think the day before we left or the day we left, whatever. Doing film in Michigan State, go through, you know, coach goes through the whole film, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was a really good team. Draymond Green, a few other guys. It was a good team. And finish the film, and coach, you know, does his stands up at the end of the film, kind of like wraps it up. You know, we can go up there, you know, got to win the game, blah, 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 big game. You know, does his whole spiel. And then, you know, we're about to walk off onto the court for practice. So, you know, we're about to get up, and Wojo's like, oh, hold on, guys. Sit down, hang on, guys. And coach, you go ahead out. We'll be out there in a second. And before I finish the story, it's going to get not safe for work with the language a little bit. So if you got kids, maybe listen to this part a little bit later. So yeah, he lets coach go out on the court, and, you know, coach goes out. He turns around, and he says, you guys better not fuck this up. And we're like, whoa, like, what? Come on, man. You can't just lob that kind of pressure on us. Like, we're not playing, you know, we're not playing Pepperdine. Like, we're playing, you know, Michigan State's a top 10 team. You know, it's not just some pushover we're going to play. You guys better not fuck this up. Okay, we're going up there. We're going up there. We're going to win this game. You understand? And we're like, I guess, I don't know. Like,
yeah, if you say so.
Yeah, like, we're gonna try to win. I don't know, like, but we won. So it all worked out.
Well, it's crazy because he got 1K in MSG too.
MSG, yeah, that's what, like, I don't know.
And it was a good game. That was St. John's. That was another big Tyus game.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of guys, but I remember Tyus had a big one in that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so last thing, I've kept you here for a while. Duke starting 5 and 6 man. Duke careers only. Starting. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Duke career only. You get to pick your starting 5 and 6 man to win 6 games in late March, early April.
It's hard because I wasn't a Duke fan before Ryan went there. So like my knowledge of like guys, I've since like met them and picked it up a lot.
That's
like,
okay.
We've
had some young guys on here who I think have been like 2011 and on. So it's fine.
I feel like if you don't have Grant Hill, like you missed something. So I feel like I want Grant. I feel like I want Grant Hill. Right, but then I'm like, where does Shane Battier go?
He's pretty good too.
So let's go those two.
Okay. So we got Shane and Grant.
Who's playing the 1? So I didn't ever watch Jay Williams. So I just know that he was amazing just because knowing that, but I don't know how to like compare what I saw with Kyrie to him. Kyrie was like just making people look silly the few games that I remember what he did at Michigan State and Cameron. So I think I have to put Kyrie because if he had played a full season, we would have kept doing that. Yeah, he was just dancing around people.
Yeah.
Did the same thing in our flag football team during the lockout. So that's Kyrie, Grant, and Shane. And then I'm trying to think how these people all mesh together. I think JJ has to be on there. I feel like
Okay.
leading scorer in school history, right? So what you got? Kyrie, JJ,
Grant, Shane.
I don't know who's 3-4 there.
I don't think it matters.
Oh yeah, that's right. True. Who do I have at the 5?
Some good options at the 5.
I mean, I watched Ja just dominate people. Just dominate. I mean, but I don't know how to compare him to Sheldon. You know what I mean? Like, who do you pick there? I'll go Ja. I gotta go with my guy.
Yeah, you saw him up close.
Um,
And it's not. I mean, it's not like Ja was very, very good. You know, it's not like you're talking about like an average. It's a good player. Not like you're talking about like an average guy. He was very good. Might be one of the underrated one and dones that we've had.
Yeah. He was just it's hard. No one could stop him.
No.
Certainly not Frank Kaminsky. Little cheap shot.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot.
6-man. I'm trying to think about like more shooting. I'm stuck between Nolan and Kyle, I think.
Kyle's underrated, man.
He just like I watched him just throw his body into the stands like multiple times.
Yeah.
I just feel like you need a guy like that. It's just like I'm just whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But Nolan, people forget how good Nolan was. Like Nolan was so good.
Nolan's senior year was amazing. It was amazing.
But I'll go. But didn't you need another ball handler? I got Nolan at the 6-man.
I mean, Grant played point his senior year.
See, but I don't know that.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, you're not a Duke head. It's okay. It's fine. So all right, we'll go. We got Kai, JJ, Grant, Shane, Ja, Nolan. That's a good team. That's a unique team. I don't think I've had that. I know I haven't had that combination of guys. That's a good team. I like that team.
But I'm for sure missing someone that's obvious.
I mean, you're missing Jay Will. I mean, I could make a team that could play with that team. I don't know if I can make a team that beats that team, that could play with that team. I mean, because I go Jay Will, Johnny Dawkins, Luol Deng, Zion.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I forgot Zion. Of course you want Zion.
Yeah. Jay Will, Johnny Dawkins, Luol Deng, Zion, Leitner.
Another one. I know the shot. I met Leitner, but I didn't watch him play when he was playing.
My team might beat your team. I don't know, man. This might be close.
I don't know. I don't think Battier lost a lot of games.
That's true. I don't know. He ain't played against Zion, though.
It's also true.
All right, man. I've taken up enough of your time. Go do your paper. I appreciate it. And yeah, man. Hopefully.
Sounds good, man. Hopefully I'll see you at the Carolina game.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm trying to get to one. I'm trying to get to at least one this year. So hopefully that works out.
Well, if not, see you soon. My best to the family.
To you
and I'll get up with you later.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
See ya.